Okay, we're live now. This is Vance Stevens in Al Ain, UAE, and we're talking tonight with Dave Winet, an old friend of mine, old friend of ours, I should say. Most of us are know David from a long time ago, and he's going to talk to us tonight about writing using real-world sites, and that's actually an interest of Vanessa's. She's here. She was corresponding with us in the Hangout event dialogue beforehand, so she has some suggestions as well. And it looks like we have with us, starting on my left, is David Wexler, and then Dave Winet is next. Halima Asimozov from Tashkent in Uzbekistan, Maria Colusa from Argentina, and Nina Liakos from Maryland. Susan, also living in Argentina, is here. Susan Hilliard. And Vanessa is also with us from New Mexico. And so that's a great turnout. We really appreciate it. Today is the 28th of December, 2014. And let's hand it over to Dave and let him get us started. Maria, you might want to mute yourself, because we're getting a little background noise from there. Okay, David, how are you tonight?
I'm fine. How are you? How's everybody? Such a nice turnout. Good to see everybody. So international. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Let me give you a little background on my topic. I teach college-bound students between 18 and 25, depending. And our focus is primarily on academic writing. I teach a lot of higher-level writing. But I found that the structure of the writing classes was a little too formal in a way, that the topics seemed a little stilted. They were straight out of the book and so on. They have to be done, and of course we have to teach this essay structure with arguments and comparisons and cause and effect and so on, as I'm sure you're all very familiar with. But I was looking for something to give a little pop to the classes, and my brother told me that he liked to write restaurant reviews for Yelp, and that gave me an idea to get my students writing either comments or reviews on websites that allow such things, so that the students would be writing about real things, real experiences they had had that were current, and that their their opinions and views would be read by other people, not only the teacher, first of all, and secondly, that perhaps some people would derive some benefit from reading their reviews, either to go see a movie or not to go see it, to try a restaurant or not, to try a certain dish at that restaurant, and so on. I think you see what I'm driving at. And they would also be able to get feedback on occasion from people who read their reviews. So I started looking around for websites that allow people to make comments or write reviews, and the list kept getting longer and longer, so I finally thought I should give a little talk about it and suggest some things that you all might be wanting to do if you're so inclined. Generally, I let the students, I direct them to a particular site. For example, a movie site. My favorite is called RottenTomatoes.com, and I'll put up the whole list in a minute. And then I let them pick a movie that they've seen and write an essay about it. Generally speaking, I give them a choice whether they post what they've written without correction, or whether they submit it to me. I think more and more I'm tending to have them submit to me for improvement in the grammar, vocabulary, and especially the structure and how the review is written. As you know, a movie review should contain certain elements to be called a good good movie review. So they'll generally pass it all by me, and then and then post it. Of course, they can let their the other students in the class know about what they've done. We'll look at it in class in many cases, and they're usually quite thrilled to see their name up on the screen. And they can also let their friends and family know that they've written this, actually published review online, and get feedback from them as well. They might, for example, write a review about, say, a Korean movie, which maybe is not well known outside Korea, but but should be, and they can do their little bit to popularize the movie. I'm not talking about the interview in this case. I haven't seen that yet. Have you? Anyway, I either let them pick their own particular movie or restaurant, or as you'll see, other things you can write about, or sometimes I will assign something specific to them. The advantage there being that we can compare different students' essays and choose and look at what's good and bad in each essay. In my classroom, I'm fortunate enough to have a big screen in front of the class that's interconnected, so it's easy to put everybody's essay up and talk about it. I find that very useful. Anything that bring in other people, both classmates and people outside, is often a strong motivator, I find, for the students, because they're actually writing for somebody, and those people are going to hopefully respond in some way. It makes a big difference. It's not just an academic exercise. So I think it's a very strong motivator, and that is my primary purpose. Another advantage is that students who have read a person's review of a movie or a restaurant can then go and try it. Go see the movie or go to the restaurant, and then they can write their own comment if they wish, if it's a local restaurant, of course. Or they might go in a group to see a particular movie, or with one or two classmates, or many, or a restaurant, and then each person could write his or her own review, which would give a very interesting contrasts as to what each person liked or didn't like about a given movie. That's always pretty fascinating, I think, and not to mention the fun that they have going somewhere together as part of a class project and doing something fun, like going to a restaurant together. So there's a lot of bonding that can take place that's otherwise often difficult to achieve. A lot of my students are very shy and don't really get to know the other students even in the same class, or maybe they know one or two, but they don't get to know the whole class. So that's a very good thing. There is one caveat, and that is that some students aren't really ready to interact with the outside world, either because of their English or because they're shy. And that's why I don't do only this type of thing, but also, of course, the standard academic essays, besides the obvious point that they need to prepare for university. And do you want to say something?
Well, just that we like to have. I mean, Dave is a webhead from way back, so we like to discuss with people. I just asked people to mute their microphones so that we wouldn't get background noise and inadvertent background noise and echoes and things like that. But if anybody has anything to say, you're more than welcome to chime in. I see Maria is posting lots of things in the and David as well, both posting in the text chat. So if you have any comments, please chime in.
Right. Well, this is probably right a good point here. I'm just reading my intro really to you, but let's take a break and see if there's any if there are any comments so far or thoughts about this. Maybe you've done a similar thing.
Yeah, I found when I started, oh gosh, last century using computers with students, one really strong point of using computers was um, getting them to ask to interact actually with native speakers. So you mentioned that they're interacting with each other or bonding with each other, but also they could find out what or go to movies with other native speakers or go out to eat and sort of collaborate with other native speakers. Do you find that this helps at all with that kind of thing, with getting them talking to people in the real world?
I personally don't find that they interact much with American students. I wish they would, but in my experience, they're pretty nervous about that. So I would say in general, not too much, although there are some exceptions.
Dave,
Okay.
I have
We've
a
just been
question.
joined. Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
Nina.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
You're probably going to address this later on, but I wonder if before the students write a review, if you have them read a bunch of reviews and then talk about, what the structure of the review is, what the purpose of the review is, what the audience of the review is, and, how to write a good one as opposed to how to write a bad one. I would imagine that they need to see models before they actually do it. I'm kind of assuming that you're going to talk about that later.
Actually, yes, that was my next point. And for the higher level students, we do some much more serious approach where we'll read a professional review, and then we'll read what various English speakers have said on the review site, just your average person, and then we will talk about how those reviews are structured, whether the plot was given, whether the actors were mentioned, whether specific scenes were discussed, resemblances to other films, and all the sort of interesting things that one can find in a review. And we'll also look at the type of vocabulary they are going to need and so on and so forth. For the lower level classes, and I have classes that are extremely low level where students can barely write one sentence, I don't have any great requirements. I'm happy if they can just say something about the movie.
Well, if I can articulate for Maria, she's asking Nina, and you can always come in and be on the recording yourself. We love to hear your voice. She's asking about spoilers. What do you mean by spoilers, Nina?
A spoiler is something in a movie review which spoils the movie for you because it tells you what's going to happen. Spoilers also exist in book reviews. Generally, when you write a review for public consumption of a book or a movie, you don't give away the outcome because you don't want to spoil it for people that see it. That's all. Sometimes in a review you will see something called a spoiler alert, which alerts the reader who has not yet seen the book, read the book, or seen the movie that they should stop reading there if they don't want to have it spoiled for them.
That's a very good point. I'll remember that. Yeah, I can think of some movies where it would have really killed it, like what was it, The Sixth Sense? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nina.
I'd like to welcome the two newcomers. There's Sarah Ilkalani, who has just joined us, and Bill Templer has also joined us. I'm not familiar with those two, but I muted you only. Well, actually, Bill hasn't been making any noise, but I muted Sarah because we were getting a lot of noise there. But anybody who wants to talk, just unmute your microphone and you can speak, and then we'd appreciate it if you can mute it back while the conversation is going on.
I'm curious if any of you all do anything like this, if you've used any review sites for writing practice. All right, silence is consent.
Yeah.
I haven't, but I'm going to. I think with the self-paced study group, see if I can get them to. But I've always tried to build. I taught a lot of developmental writing, which is probably a lot like the level you're teaching with the ESL students. And in New Mexico, some of your developmental writing students are not quite native speakers anyway. I mean, they grew up speaking English, but they learned it from non-native speakers. So they've got some similar structural problems. But the thing is, if they're in a class where they have to learn to write to meet a requirement or to prepare for a test or a prerequisite, they're not there because they want to write. So it really helps to find things that they want to write about. And then, I don't know about your students, Dave, but mine would always ask me, but what's the point of writing? So that would be one of an early exercise of get them to talk about when they write. You know, and what do they use writing for? And they're kind of stuck with essays, and then you point out that grocery lists are writing, memos are writing, yard sale flyers are writing. It's all right. Postcards are writing. And I point out to them, too, have you ever noticed how much easier it is to write somebody a postcard than it is to write a paragraph in class? And they're like, man, yeah. And I said, well, that's because you have a sense of who you're writing to. But you sit in here in class, and you're looking at that blank piece of paper, and it's like you can't imagine who you're addressing it to. So I said it helps if you have a sense of writing for a purpose and to a person, to an audience. And then we try to find things. One thing, I don't know if it do with your students, but one thing that besides that was easy for them to write was quite often a how-to for something that they were used to doing. Because it's basically that's one of your standard essay forms you have to teach, but in your absolute bare bones matter of it, it's really a recipe. So if you have anybody who cooks, and then you can have them write a recipe, but write it out instead of just being a list. Write it like an essay, and that's easier for them to see how to do because they're used to recipes. And then since everybody complains, letters to the editor are very popular. You can always it's amazing how many will get interested in that, and they're very excited if their letter gets published.
Yeah, I can well imagine. Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think your point about having a sense of who they're writing for is brilliant. I don't know if this idea I'm presenting today really accomplishes that goal or not, since they'd be writing, they're obviously writing for strangers in a sense, unless they're thinking about their fellow students. But I'm going to try and incorporate that in the future. Thank you for that thought.
All this idea of food and Korean pizzas, which is coming up in the text chat, just puts me in mind of Jeff LeBeau's wonderful hangouts where he has his students demonstrate in their kitchens and hang out how to prepare certain foods, and it's really just remarkable. It's marvelous. So that could be, I suppose, the precursor to a written event if you wanted, but it's basically what he has them do is just explain how they prepare the food and show and demonstrate and talk about it. Yeah, so anyhow, Korean pizza. That's a good one. On that note, actually, one of my favorite essays was written by a student about trembling. Can you imagine writing an essay about trembling? He described all the sensations, and it turned out later, sorry for the spoiler, but it turned out later he was talking about using the trampoline. It was a great essay. Really,
of course, mixing B and P, right?
Yes.
It's an Arabic speaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. Well, our focus where I teach is on getting these students into university and helping them be able to write for regular college classes. So the reason I kind of zeroed in on reviews is because those are fairly well structured, as Nina pointed out. To be any good, they have to be well structured, and they have a lot of the elements of a regular academic essay plus the interest factor. I guess maybe I should go on at this point, and I'm going to show you my list of types of websites where you can write reviews as well as, of course, read reviews, read other people's reviews. So I'm going to show you my notes here. I apologize for making PowerPoint. I think you can see this list.
Yep.
Found. Everybody see it okay? Can you read it okay?
I can.
Yes.
And if you can't see it, let's see what I can do. I'm going to click on your icon so it comes up for the recording. If you don't see it, click on David's icon at the bottom, and that will put it on your screen as well. Looks like we're starting out with Amazon product reviews, Rotten Tomato movie reviews, Yahoo News current events, etc. Yelp, of course, for restaurant reviews. All right, there are 11. I see 11 of them on your screen right there.
Right. Yeah, actually, I just added that 11th after Vanessa's point. Because I forgot the Yahoo. It's not Yahoo questions. It's Yahoo answers. Sorry. 11.
Okay. Changing it as we speak.
There we go. It's learning on the fly.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Amazon already. What am I saying?
It's not just food either, because it can be how to do anything. I had one kid do an essay on how to strip a motor. And then and then that caught on with the guys. They go, "Oh yeah, we can write about this sort of stuff."
I'm glad you added the word motor, Vanessa. I was confused for a millisecond there. Yeah, well, absolutely, and that would be, a very more technical sort of thing. So it would be perfect, depending on the student body and where they're headed. In my case, as I said, they're mostly going into college and going to be writing kind of abstract essays. So,
Dave, can I ask why you said watch out for the three at the bottom? Dear Abby or Amy or Caroline Hacks or whatever, and People's Court and Yahoo Answers. So there's fraught with risk.
Where did I say that?
No, numbers 9, 10, and 11. Oh, I did. I see. It's part of number 8, things to avoid or watch out for. And I'm thinking, why do you need to watch out for Dear Abby?
Oh no, it's this is part of number 8. I should have put a period there. Sorry, there's the period.
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. In other words, don't drink the water when you go to Mexico. Things like that.
Well, I was actually thinking about Dear Abby. I think Dear Abby doesn't write anymore, but they're advice columnists in general. The problem is, for that, is most people are writing about stuff that most students wouldn't want to make public, or even though they could do it with a pseudonym, right?
Well, the reason I chose Dear Abby is because some of the letters are pretty
Innocuous.
Pretty, yeah, pretty innocuous. I chose one to show you. I can show you right now, actually. I think the one I did with my class was, sorry, it's taking time to come up because I've got so many pages open. Was this lady who didn't want to invite her daughter-in-law to Christmas or something like that. You know, it was innocuous. I'm not, my Google Hangout isn't coming up, so, I mean, oh, I see what the problem is. Okay, sorry. Wrong Google.
There are so many Googles.
Give me just a sec here and I'll put this Dear Abby thing on the screen.
Okay, I might just say we're also streaming this. We've had up to 9 people in this Hangout so far, but if anyone is in the stream, I've put something at the bottom of, we're streaming at webheadsinAction.org/live, and sometimes people are in the stream and interact with us in the chat wing. It's chatwing.com/Vance, STEVE. That's a shortened version of my name. And anyway, we're not getting any stream interaction. Seems like most people have just joined us live here.
Why is Sarah here twice?
Well, I don't know. Sarah, how are you? Would you like to say hi? She's here once now.
Are you able to see this Dear Abby site?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
I see it flashing on and off.
Yeah, I'm getting it also. Yes, it's flashing on and off.
It's flashing on and off.
Yeah.
Ah. Well, let me just simplify matters by telling you what it's about. It's called Wife is in a Pickle, Packing Lunches for Choosy Husband.
May I suggest you post the link here?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, go there. Mm-hmm.
You see that link come up in the chat?
Yeah, I can see. No, I haven't seen it in the chat yet.
No? I put it. Oh, I see. There's 2 chats. Okay. Here, just one sec. The Google 2 chats going on.
Yeah, there's a back channel chat which sometimes I miss. There's one. There's one here associated with the Hangout. There's a Hangout chat. There's also our chat wing chat. Ooh, boy, my cat is tripping over my cords here. Here we go. There's the cat tripping over the cords. Anyway, now he's settled himself down now. Okay. And Susan Hilliard is back. No, actually.
So, can everybody see this Dear Abby page now?
Yes. If we click on it, it should open. I'll just see if I can open it. Okay.
Still loading. Okay.
I'm going to just mute where we're getting background noise. I'm not sure if that's Halima or Sarah. It might be Halima. Anyway, don't take it personally if I mute you. It's just I'm trying to cut down the background noise. Susan is back. How are you, Susan? Can you hear us okay? Might be Susan making that noise. So I'm going to mute you temporarily, and then if you need to talk, just unmute. Ah, that was the source of the noise. No problem. Anyway, we know your mic was working. If you want to talk, you're welcome. Just unmute your microphone and just chime in. No problem. We like to hear your voice on our recording.
Hi, Vance. Can you hear me?
Yes, it can. Oh, we were hearing you coughing earlier, much earlier. But anyway, you sound like you have a horrible cold.
I have a terrible cold.
Oh no.
I'm going to be 36 degrees today.
Oh, that heat will give you a cold. I mean, she's in Argentina.
Oh, it's summer.
Yeah.
Summer cold.
It's summer flu, it's awful. So I'm just going
no.
to listen in, okay?
Okay. All right.
Your laryngitis is being immortalized on YouTube here.
Want to hear any more of this? Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's funny.
You can just mute yourself. Okay,
Are you
great.
teaching a speaking class?
She gives a lot of presentations. I hope you don't have any in the coming right up. But I hope that will be over in a couple of days. How many people do we have in the chat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9. We still have room for one more. If anybody needs to join us, you're more than welcome. If anybody's listening in the stream and wants to join the chat, you're welcome. So anyway, David, about Dear Abby.
Right. So let's see, Dear Abby, where was I?
It's a discussion
Yeah,
thread.
let's take a look at this as an example of what one might do with any of these sites and any of these topics. So we have sort of amusing a lady who is sick of her husband being so picky and asking for advice. So what I would do, of course you can do it a lot differently, is first read the article, of course, and there's lots of interesting vocabulary, like just looking at the topic, wife is in a pickle packing lunches for choosy husband. Of course you could introduce in a pickle, you could introduce a colloquial expression, pack a lunch. Choosy is a great expression. And you could even talk about alliteration in a pickle packing. And then you could segue over to Peter Piper if you want. So just the title, I can see 15 minutes of discussion. I might never get to the letter. So then we read the letter, and before, well, there are a number of ways to treat this, but one idea would be to read the letter and then have an oral discussion of what the answer should be, either in small groups or in the whole class. And then read the Dear Abby's answer, which they might agree with or not. Again, lots of interesting things to talk about. For example, I notice in the answer it says, Dear Frustrated. Well, frustrated is a great word. And then to the word darn in the first sentence, also something you're never going to learn in the classroom, but it's helpful to know. Second sentence, obviously we have a stay-at-home mother, reluctant. I mean, it's full of stuff that I think my students would benefit from learning. And so we'd read the answer, but then I would say, well, you don't have to agree with Dear Abby at all. And what I would like you to do now, this is your homework, or it could be in class, I want you to write your own answer to Frustrated Lunch Packer, and then send it to me. We'll talk about it and correct it, and then you can post it. And if you scroll down, you'll see comments. And
Dave,
yes,
you're sharing the Hangout window, the Hangout screen.
yes, because we weren't having any luck with the other one.
Oh,
Should I?
okay.
You want me to try screening again?
Yeah, go back to your.
I think
your
I
icon.
maybe. Yeah, sure.
So you'll. There you go. All right.
Oh, are we back to that?
No, we got you now on. We've got your face now.
Oh, well, do you want my face or do you want the page?
Well,
The
we
Dear
weren't
Abby
getting the
page.
page. We were getting
Right.
the Hangout. The Hangout was showing up, so you could have been streaming that window, or I'm not quite
Oh,
sure.
okay. Well, yeah, I'm assuming everybody has the page open on their own browser now. Hope that's the
We
case.
do, I guess.
Lovely. Lovely. So if you scroll down, there are 1,051 comments that you can have your students read. I recommend you have them read all the comments and comment on all the comments. Yeah, that should keep them busy for a while. No, but I think it's interesting to read what average people have to say, both the language they use, which is often interesting, sometimes shocking, especially the news stories. Unfortunately, often there are a real, what's the nice word for it, unpleasant people. So you have to watch out for that. If you're doing reading news comments, I don't think you're going to find anything really bad here. But you're going to see how real people structure their comment as opposed to how a professional journalist structures the comment, and get different ideas and so on. I would probably read maybe 3 comments. And at that point, I think the students are ready to write their own comment after a discussion of how the comment should be structured, some guidelines, a model, as Nina pointed out, and have the students write their own comment, and then post after correction, post, and then also read each other's comments and discuss each other's comments. So there is an awful lot to be gotten out of just a simple little letter like this if the topic is well chosen and something that they can get interested in. I think that's always absolutely key. That's about it. Any comments on Dear Abby?
I was over here in another window. It was this discussion about Twitter. We were talking about Twitter, and Twitter is another site you can use actually to get students to write interesting things in 140 characters. For example, I think Julius Caesar might have done the first really tweet that he wrote. I came, I saw, I conquered. And that just puts all this into one tweet. And I've found a site here that, for example, here's a tweet. Okay, I got several of them here. I just found the one. I opened the door to our flat, and you were standing there, cleaver raised. Somehow you'd found out about the photos. My jaw hit the floor.
Wow.
Oh, I can post a few of them in there. But if you get having your students read things like this and then try to create their own, that's a really nice approach to writing. And of course, tweet them so they get some commentary from one another. Good morning, Claire. Claire, by the way, has just joined us in Chatwing. So I think there might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There, yes. So there's space in the Hangout. I'll put. I think the direct link is up at the top of the Chatwing chat. So maybe Claire will join us here. Or maybe it's early morning where Claire is. No telling where she is. She could be in India. She could be in Pittsburgh. Anyhow. We're just talking about different sites that we can use to get students to write things for real-world audiences. And David was talking about Dear Abby, and he had a whole list of things up there. We were sharing all that. We'll share that in the show notes as well. And we're getting comments.
Yeah, very interesting comments. Thank you. I'm going to go back. Hopefully you can see my list of sites here, because that's really the takeaway, I think, in terms of maybe you wanting to use some of this stuff. Of course, you'll probably come up with your own better sites or that are more suitable for your students. So Amazon.
Yes, I suggest
myself or something.
I suggest.
Oh, sorry, Halima, I just muted you too. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead. We had somebody else join us, and I thought I was
Also,
muting.
I suggest to write Twitter stories based on some cultural heritage. This year, our intangible also cultural value like Asakya was dedicated as intangible Uzbek national heritage by UNESCO. For example, you never know about that. We can organize. It is a very witty speaking conversation. We can organize two teams. One is speaking plain English, one is speaking with idioms and proverbs, for example. And the second group must guess what was said via these proverbs. It is a very interesting because in our culture we get so kind of games. And only men are involved. But in our society, all people are speaking English. Why not to organize teams, men against women, for example, who speaks better English? Yes, I suggest this. Yes.
What do you mean,
Thank
men?
you.
Of course.
Yes, men again, ladies, or plain English against very picturesque English, also incorporated with idioms, with proverbs, and students must guess what does it mean in that situation. It will be studying proverbs, idioms in action. We discussed this problem at my page. I can give you my page. You can join, okay? Good. Now.
Okay, I'm going to speak to Claire in the text chat. She says the Hangout is full. Maybe, let's see, Susan, perhaps we could ask you, since you're not interacting with us here, you could join us at webheadsinaction.org/live. You can catch the stream there. Or if you're with us and you're not really interacting, anybody can leave and make room for Claire. So if anybody would like to do that, you can.
I'll go over to YouTube.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Vanessa. That's Vanessa Vale making, and also looks like Susan has also popped out. Susan has laryngitis. That's why I thought maybe she wasn't. She's just listening. And Claire, there's room for you now. People have just moved to make room for you. The musical chairs are waiting for you. So please join in. She's in the chat wing chat with Claire. Okay. Sorry, I've sort of lost the thread there for a second. Well, anyway, just talking about writing for real-world audiences with Dave Winet, coming to us from California. And got a little bit of...
I've heard you can catch a bug online.
Hello there.
Waiting for you. So, hi, Claire. How are you?
Hi. How are you doing?
She's in the chat room.
Hi, Claire.
Hi.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good. A lot of noise.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Anyway, just talking about writing for real-world audiences. Dave Winet, coming to us from California. On a lag, so I'm going to have to mute people. Got a little bit of...
I've heard you can catch a bug online.
Hello there.
Waiting for you. So, hi, Claire. How are you?
Hi. How are you doing?
In the chat room.
Thank you,
Hi,
Vanessa.
Claire.
Hi.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good. A lot of noise.
Thank you, Vanessa.
I think I'm having my own... For real-world audience. Dave Winet, coming to us from California. On a lag, so I'm going to have to mute people. Are other people hearing the echo? I'm not sure if it's on my computer. Yes, okay.
Hello there.
Waiting for you. Hi, Claire, are you listening to the stream? Turn it off.
Thank you, Vanessa.
It's you, I think.
Hi.
Okay. I'm going to mute you until you've done that. Okay. She's muted us. muted herself. Yeah, so she was listening to the stream. She came in, and the stream got fed back into our into the recording here.
Vance, David was asking for the link to Chatwing.
Okay. It's let me see if I can just stick it in the. I just muted it, unfortunately. I mean, I just killed it because I thought it was. Let me see if I can stick it in my in the text chat here. It's http:// oops, chatwing.com and then VNCESTEV, and there it is in the. Should be in the text chat now. Okay, hope that works. So Claire, if you found your the source of that echo, you can come back and speak to us again.
I think Vance was a juggler in his former life.
Whew, boy, yeah. Also a diplomat, possibly.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, now I'm learning my tricks from Jeff LeBeau. He's our mentor in all of this. In fact,
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. See, you could just stream this from the event page. You wouldn't have to have any URL but that. And but in order to bring the Chatwing chat in, so that people can interact with us there, like finding out that Claire was there, for example, you have to have a page. That's where webheadsinaction.org/live is for. I've got the video embed there, plus the Chatwing chat, so people can go to that space and they can hear what we're doing and also interact with us in the Chatwing. So that way we include people when the chat is full, when the Hangout is full. People don't really go away disappointed. You know, they can actually do something about it, which is what Claire did. And of course, the people in the Hangout are very reasonable and can go over and you know, listen in webheadsinaction.org/live, or they can hear it on YouTube, or they can hear it on the event page. So we have Jeff LeBeau to thank for all of that.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I'll send him a note. Yeah, that's right. I didn't realize we'd have more than 10 people here. I'm wondering now if next time, if there is another time, Skype might not allow more people.
Well, it does, but then people have to be in your Skype contacts, you know, and it's a little complicated. It's this way I can put the direct link to the chat, to the Hangout. I can put the direct link on several websites. I'm not sure how Bill came to us, for example. He's over in one corner of our Hangout here. He's certainly welcome. But he could have come from any number of places, including, I put it just, it's a little risky to put it in the Google Hangout event page. But that's one problem when people set up Hangouts. If you go there to the event page, you can't find any way to get into the Hangout. So that's why I put the direct link there. And you never know who's going to join you, but so far we haven't really had much of a problem. We did one time. Anyhow,
Vance, I'm
yes.
having trouble finding the Chatwing again because I wanted to open up a new window so I could look at that one and also keep apprised of the chat here. And so I opened up a new browser window and put in chatwing.com/VanceSteve, and I get the page, but I don't get the Chatwing chat. There's a big white space there. Do you have a suggestion? I don't know if that's the YouTube stream.
Well, why don't you go to
anywhere on this page.
Okay, go to webheadsinaction.org/live and try there. It's embedded at the bottom there. So the one little rule about Chatwing used to be, and David is saying in the Hangout chat that he's posted the link there again, and it says it's working for him. So if you've got it open in one place.
Yeah, maybe I have it open in one place and so it won't open in another place.
Or it could be a Java issue. Try it in a different browser. So many things can go wrong. But so
Yeah,
many
well,
things
don't
go
worry
right.
about it.
That's the wonderful thing about the internet.
Dave should just go on talking and ignore me because I can hear and I'm still in the Hangout.
Okay, well, we might want to wrap up in a few minutes anyway, like 10 minutes or something like that. So we got started a little bit late, but it's coming to the top of the hour. So, David, is there more that you want to emphasize here in this discussion you're hosting?
Yeah, a little bit. I want to go down this list here, and then for homework, I'd like everybody to write a review.
You could just put comments in the Hangout event, window, and that would be good too. That would be a good review.
That would be good. Or if you're really feeling, up to it, you could write a review in one of these sites and then put the link here in the Hangouts. Anyway, never mind. No homework really.
You could also tag it. You could have your students tweet them and tag them with a special tag like Winet class review or something like that, or something unique, and then you could collect them all in Twitter.
Well, that's clever.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Why not? Would that be an @ sign or a hash?
A hash. A hash. You could set up
Winet.
something that will not be
WIA reviews.
Yeah, or maybe
that
a number in there or something, so that. But yeah, it could be. If you set up that what you just suggested, probably you could use that for all of them. So yeah.
But there we go. 2014 014.
That'll work, except it's a very long tag.
Oh, it's too long.
No, it's okay. It's okay for right now.
I don't know. You can think of one. I'm not a Twitter guy. Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Dave?
Absolutely.
Do you grade your students on these things, or is this kind of an extra writing practice activity? And if it's extra, how do you get them to do it? And if you grade them, how do you evaluate? I mean, whether they've done a good job or not, or is it just like you did it or you didn't do it? The unfortunate realities of teaching.
Right. Well, I want them to enjoy doing it and want to do it, and I think they do find the motivation just by that being an assignment. But I might grade the final version after we've worked on it and corrected it and so on. But I don't want that to be uppermost in their mind, because the whole idea is to write about something you want to write about, not because you're afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that works.
Do you have any difficulty with your students not wanting to open random accounts in places like Yelp? I mean, I opened an account in Yelp once, and I'm just constantly inundated with Yelp stuff in my inbox now, so I had to unsubscribe.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder, because I've been on Yelp for years and they never send me anything.
I must
be
have
one of the lucky
inadvertently
ones.
set my, put my settings in a way that they're going to send me stuff.
Well, maybe you can go reset that, because honestly, I never get anything from Yelp.
Claire has an interesting idea. She says set up a separate email account for such services. I guess I could use my old Yahoo account, which still exists somewhere out in cyberspace.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you have to be a member. Sorry?
I think in some of these places you do have to be a member in order, the granddaddy of all these things is Wikipedia, and there are some teachers that have their students write articles for Wikipedia, and you do have to be kind of a member of a select group of Wikipedia editors, I believe.
Of course.
I don't know about the others. Maybe not, Dear Abby. Another place where you can put put reviews or comments, which you didn't mention is TED, and you have to be a member of TED to do that.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you can't participate in what they call the conversation.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm not sure
Naturally,
about,
yeah.
you know,
TED and
how into
Wikipedia,
it.
those are good. Those are obviously a little even more academic, which is good. And I will
Well, they're
add those to
definitely
the list.
not for beginners.
No, I shouldn't think so, no. But nevertheless, aspire
Oh,
to.
wait a second. Can you leave the list there, because now I can see your thing that says what students get, which I want to take.
And I'm going to go over the list right
Okay.
now, so just a moment. I'm just adding this for.
There are lots of suggestions in the text chat. David is suggesting creating an account. David Wexler is creating a wiki, putting it there. People are suggesting setting up separate email accounts, and Claire mentioned set up a separate Gmail account. But if you use Gmail, you can use Yelp and all of these other things and set up a filter system there. I think the filters in Gmail are brilliant. So
Right, I
you
should do
can,
that. You're right.
yeah, you can filter to oblivion.
I agree with Vance.
But once I have set up a filter, I never again look at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the
it's like
idea.
going straight into the trash. I should just filter them right into the trash.
There you go.
I
There you
never
go.
look.
Never is a big word, Nina.
Yeah, well, so far.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to do, isn't it?
In the
Or
case
just-
of Yelp, yes.
Or just tag them. You could just tag it Yelp, and then you can
I-
see it when it comes in, and you just archive. Anything that comes in Yelp, just archive it.
I did that once for the discussion forum in a MOOC I was in, and I was really interested in reading it, but after I set up the filter, I never went back to it. Now it's like a year later. Like, why would I go back to it now?
There you go. Yeah, you probably saved a little time in the process.
I saved a lot of time. And I was able to find my work emails, whereas before I did that, my inbox was just filled with MOOC emails.
I have another suggestion for David Winet this time. Take that list that
Hello?
you're creating. Yeah, hang on.
I have a question.
Yeah. One moment,
I have a
Halima.
question to Nina.
Wait,
I have
Halima.
a question to Nina.
Halima,
Yes.
we're speaking.
Yes,
Just
Nina.
a minute.
Please say
wait.
about this application and embassy of USA in Tashkent for Czech women. I never been to the United States, but what can I say? In duration of 3 years, I working with Vance. Vance even made me moderator at his web room. But nobody can make multimedia. Nobody is interested, only speaking English. I think that if we do not combine two activities, speaking American English or global English, and being digitally competent, but knowing nation's priorities. Nowadays, making also multimedia for educational needs is a buzzword in Uzbekistan. But nobody is interested. Vance knows how many times I wanted to organize some conferences, but I'm not so rich. I am a poor pensioner sitting at home. And now we have application for Czech women, especially from Central Asia. What do you say? I posted for you a question, this, of eligibility of application for Czech women from Central Asia. Because, you know, many people study in America, but no multimedia till this time, no.
Okay, Halima, I'm going to mute you for a moment because you were interrupting something else that was going on. So anyway, I was saying for Dave, for this chat, you can take your WordPad, copy what's there, and paste, create something like TitanPad. Go to TitanPad or one of these, Etherpad clones. Are you familiar with them?
Titan, Titan.
TitanPad. Yeah, let me get.
Okay.
Yeah, TitanPad. Just type in TitanPad in Google, and it will bring it up for you. paste that into the Titan pad, then get this URL and give us the URL, and then we can all go to that link. It's a real quick way to share information on the net, the kind that you're writing there, because we could all add to that. We could crowdsource that list, and of course I'll put that list in the show notes as well. Looks like Maria is popping out. It's Sunday morning where she is in Argentina, and we wanting to wrap this up also soon, as I've got a granddaughter here and need to get back to visiting. Sorry to cut you off there, Halima, but we were just in the middle of something you might not have heard what we were doing.
Okay. Vance, a question to Vance. We are focusing on Wi-Fi. Nowadays, in many universities, for example, particularly at the best University of Tashkent, they try to organize some classes via Wi-Fi. Nobody except me knows how to do this in English. Please organize a class, how to make classes via Wi-Fi. For example, one main computer, some computer very close, how to monitor this class, please. Maybe for you it is very easy, but for us, we are not an English-speaking country, first of all. Then Wi-Fi is a very novelty for us, but university needs this. Then I ask you to organize your class. Hangout dedicated to this organizing classes like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Halima. Okay, we'll give that some thought. That's what EVO is all about, too. Flipped learning, flipped classes, how to train people to improve their skills. Okay, Dave, over to you again.
Right. Okay, TitanPad is not coming up here. I think my computer's overloaded, but I will bring it up and post it on TitanPad once I close some of these windows.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I just want to. I know Vance needs to get going. I just want to run down this list very quickly. I hope you can see it. So Amazon is good for product reviews and book reviews. Rotten Tomatoes is good for movie reviews, and also something students like very much is these TV series like Breaking Bad and so on that are sometimes even better than movies. Then number 3 is Yahoo News, which allows you to comment. Some of these news sites don't allow you to comment. Yahoo News does. You want to be careful here because a lot of people use bad words and so on. So that you might want to check before you send them to a particular story. You know, like if you're looking, I looked up Ferguson, you know, and that whole thing, and you know, there's some pretty strong invective there, so you want to be careful with that. Yelp is great for restaurant reviews, also for service provider reviews. If you're in a place that Yelp covers, you want, say, the students want to find a dentist or something that could be very useful for them, or report on their experience with the dentist. I had a Japanese student who went in for a toothache and got a bill for $3,500, so that kind of thing might be worth writing about. Yeah, if a lot of students love video games, if you go to GameSpot, you can write reviews of video games. A lot of students, of course, love music, and if they go to YouTube, you can write comments there. Now, the next one, number 7, is for the brave only. Rate My Professor, if you want students to talk about the schools they've been to, or your school, for that matter, or any individual teachers, they can write comments there. That's strictly optional. You might want to skip that one. We talked about TripAdvisor and Virtual Tourist. People can say, oh, you know, I went to the pyramids, I went to the Eiffel Tower, and they can talk about that. Again, you know, these are things students might talk about anyway, but they wouldn't write about them. So the advantage here is you get writing, and it gives you a chance to teach them how to write well. Dear Abby, we talked about another thing I've tried recently, which worked very well, was People's Court. That's actually video. You can find it on YouTube, and they also have their own site. This is an American courtroom show, and you watch the presentation of the case, and I tend to cut the video off before the judge decides, and then I let the students decide the case amongst themselves. They constitute a jury, then we go back and see what the judge did, and that always creates lots of interest and surprise in many cases. It teaches them a lot about the local culture, American culture, if you're trying to teach that. Yahoo Answers we talked about. I just added these last three here, Wikipedia and TED.com. Those are Nina's suggestions, I think excellent suggestions also. So that was pretty much it. There are some more notes here, which I'm going to post on Titan.com about the advantages of this type of writing. And then I'm not sure if we have time for more discussion, but I asked some discussion questions here at the bottom. Do you do anything like this in your classes? Do you think such writing might detract from learning more formal academic writing? Is there a risk of having students interact with people out in the wide world? Have you ever written a review? Would you? Why not? And can you think of other forms of real-world writing? So I don't know if we have time to discuss that. If so, great. Otherwise, thank you so much, and I appreciate the opportunity to present this idea to you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Sarah created a TitanPad, whose link is in the text chat now. And if you open that, you could paste just Control A on that WordPad right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to open it, but it won't open, Vance. I don't know if I've got too many pages open here. That's the problem.
No problem. Yeah, in a pinch, you could send it to me, and I'll just post it on the site. Okay, well, we'll take some last comments if anyone has any. I'm going to sort of steer this toward the denouement, and so that I can get back to my family here in Alain. Got my daughter-in-law visiting from Uzbekistan, just like Halima is, and our little granddaughter. So, thanks everybody for coming.
It was a very nice conversation today. Thank you. Very useful, informative.
Thank you, David, for sharing this great idea, and thanks to Vance for hosting.
Vance, thank you for this event. It was very well.
Thanks to Dave Winet. He's got other things he could share as well.
David, большое спасибо. Hello, David, большое спасибо. Приезжайте в Узбекистан, совершенствовать свой русский язык.
Спасибо, с удовольствием. I'd love to visit Uzbekistan.
Нас тепло, у меня дом большой. Вы можете, я вас Самарканд, Бухару покажу. И будете английский, мы будем с вами здесь, и русский, и вы уедете прекрасно говорящим по-русски, а мы прекрасно говорящие на английском. Это стоит. It is worth to visit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Keep in mind, we're recording this, and people are going to listen to. We want to make sure that we fill with content for all speakers of the people who are likely to listen to our broadcast. So, okay, did you find you got the TitanPad open?
Yeah, I was able to post my notes here in the public pad. Now, what do I do now? Oh, share this pad, or?
No, you just have to post them. Did you put them in the link that the one that's pasted at the bottom of the text chat here at the Hangout? Or if you have your own, you could also.
Oh, I see. Just post the link in the chat.
Post the link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right.
That's fine. Either place.
Give me 1 sec here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the computer is very slow. I think I have too many pages open.
Yeah. I've got so many open as well. Okay, anyway, that will happen soon. So, what's the link to your chat?
Vance, I put it in the back channel thing, which is open.
Okay.
The Google okay. Hangouts back
Okay.
channel. Maybe you can transfer it because
we'll figure it out.
Hangouts is not opening.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, once again, thank you very much for sharing. This is the second presentation probably in the last couple of months that Dave has given us. He sent me a list of really interesting topics he can talk about, so we'll have him back. And really appreciate you sharing. Anybody who wants to share on Learning Together, you're more than welcome. learningtogether.pbworks.com is one place we interact, and learningtogether.net is where we archive all our events. That's learning, Learning 2, the number 2, together, GETHER.net.
Дэвид, я поздравляю вас с наступающим Новым годом. Желаю вам крепкого здоровья, успехов и много-много успешных семинаров. Пожалуйста, напишите ваш e-mail.
And all
I
of
didn't
these
quite
recordings,
understand all of that.
I
just posted the
He's wishing you Happy New Year.
Here, I'll
I
post
would
it
have said
again.
that if I spoke Russian.
I think you said Happy
Yeah,
New
we-
Year, and I wish you a Happy New Year too, and to everyone here.
Yep, back at ya.
Okay.
I'm going to
Thanks
go
very
make
much.
bean soup now. It's been
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna
delight.
go have-
Thank you very much.
I'm going to have my dinner. Okay, bye everybody. Thanks again
Bye.
for coming.
Thank you, Vance. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone. Bye.